Good day, all. Good day, all. This is your man, Mark Crease, doing a little walking and talking in his favorite spot in Alexandria, Virginia. This place is called Jones Point Park, and I'm gonna just do a little walking and talking. It's kind of weird because being one of the being the youngest of 11, it's weird because if I'm 54, which I am, and I'm like, wow, if I'm the youngest, my family's getting old. And it's weird because I never thought I'd be talking about getting old. And right now, it's a cost to everything, even getting old. So if people don't understand that there's a cost attached to life, death, and just living in general, specifically getting older. And getting older, there's some costs attached to it. And a lot of people don't understand it. But if you haven't been taking care of your body at the preliminary or the genesis of your life, you're going to pay for it on the back end of life. So I've been athletic all my life, running long distance, track and field, and basketball, football, and all kind of stuff. But now that I'm 54, I'm still quite fairly athletic for my age, and I work out, on a daily basis, Monday to Friday anyway. But if the average person hasn't been taking care of themselves, they're going to feel it on the back end of life. From the ages of 15 to 25, you feel like you're invincible. You feel like you're going to remain that age all your life. Next thing you know, at the blink of an eye, 25, you're 30. 30, you're 35. 35, you're 40. 40, you're 50. I mean, it goes quick. I remember my late father telling me, he said, son, once you get 50, a year will feel like a month will feel like a week will feel like a day, and a day will feel like an hour. Believe me, he wasn't lying. Time is flying by. And if you don't pay attention to where you're at and where you're heading and trying to develop skills and help people, especially at this stage and age in life, helping people, you're gonna fall by the wayside. Once you get a certain age, it's all about helping people. Yes, you still need money, and I'm going to talk about that too, as far as the money aspect of things is getting older. But once you get a certain age, it's all about helping people. If you can't help people, you're pretty much going to be wasting your life and wasting your time. Because between the ages of birth and 49, you should have accomplished at least 90 to 95% of the things you want to accomplish in life, just personally on an individual basis. So after you get over the age of 50, it's all about helping people and giving back to the community in which you come from, or the community in which you reside. So right now, me giving back is getting on this YouTube channel talking about things that the young people have no clue of what's going on or what they're about to embark on if they just keep living. Because there's a price to getting older. I remember, I want to say it was Robert Kiyosaki said it. He said you spend the first half of your life building assets, and the second half of your life you spend those assets trying to stay alive, particularly if you haven't been taking care of yourself. Because if you haven't been taking care of yourself, 9 times out of 10 you're going to be heavily medicated, diabetes, high blood pressure, all kinds of ailments where you're going to have to be taking medication for. But if you've been taking care of yourself, I say again, listen, anything can happen to the human body. We all know this. The human body is made of dust, and dust it came, and dust it shall return. But until that day comes, you got to make sure that you're doing your part in enhancing your standard of living, or not the standard of living, your quality of life. No one can add a second to their life. But the quality of life, based on how you live and the manner in which you live, you can enhance the quality of your life, no matter what circumstance you are in. But the bottom line is this. I've learned a lot from taking care of my elderly parents. My father just passed away about a year ago, and now I'm taking care of my mother on the financial side of things. But as I've been taking care of my parents' estate and handling my mother's now, because she's a widow, handling her financial affairs, I'm beginning to think, wow, man, the older you get, you're like chopped liver. You're like chopped liver, like what Shaq says. You're like barbecue chicken. If nobody's looking after you that you can rely on, you're pretty much at the mercy of the world. Knowing that God has you, but I'm talking about your financial standing. The little monies that my mother get, her fixed income, which is quite, she's not rich, she's not poor, she's blessed. But her fixed income, if I was a shady dude, my mom would be chopped liver. So I'm like, yo, man, it's a blessing to be able to take care of my mother's finances, knowing that she has somebody at the helm whose heartbeat doesn't change because of money. My heartbeat is steady. Money doesn't change or faze me. So I told my mother, I go by the scripture, give what Caesar to Caesar and give what to the Lord to the Lord. That alone told my mother that, wait a minute, my son, money doesn't faze him. Material stuff doesn't faze him. So that makes her feel comfortable knowing that she has somebody at the helm that's taking care of her financial affairs without having to worry about somebody taking money from her. I just can't do it. I won't do it. It's not in my character to do such thing. So on the back end, here I am at 54. I'm like, Lord, if Lord spare me another 30 years, I'll be 84 like my mother. My mother's 84. I'm like, wait a minute here. Can I trust somebody with my financial affairs? I only have one child, a daughter whom I love. She just graduated from college. But as her father, I know her like the back of my hand. My daughter seems to be a transactional woman. If you don't do this, she won't do that. So I'm like, yo, I need to find somebody now that can handle business who is like myself with my mother. Because Lord knows if I grow old and the Lord spares me to grow older to the ages of the geriatric stages of life, I would want someone to handle my financial affairs, knowing that I'm just, living life the way I want to live it without having to worry about somebody taking from me. So those assurances are few and far between. I hate to say this, but I gotta say it. In the black community, it's hard to find just one person that money doesn't change their heart. They're not enthralled in love with money. It's hard in the black community. So being the youngest of 11, my parents have at least one that they entrust with their finances. So being that they have that 1 out of 11, and I'm sure it's more, but my father appointed me as trustee before he passed away. But to have 1 out of 11, that's a good thing. But what's the ratio? The average person has 1.2 children nowadays. So it's making the ratio go down as far as finding someone who can handle your financial affairs if the Lord should bless you to get old in the geriatric stages of life. But the bottom line is this: Medicaid, Medicare, and all of those other benefits that people are seeking, they're not, only ones guaranteed is Medicaid. No, Medicare. But Medicare doesn't take care of anything but like 80%. So that 20% is gigantic. If you don't have Medicare and Medicaid, you're going to be up the creek. So this is what I did. I did my due diligence, and about 7 years before the passing of my father, I did my due diligence and put him and my mom assets, everything they ever worked for in their life, in an irrevocable trust. So once I did that, that was a blessing in disguise, because when my father passed and my mother was on his fixed income, which was his Social Security and his retirement from the job that he worked for 40 years, building ships. She's on a fixed income. If I hadn't put her assets, or her and my father's assets in a trust, she will have to be paying that 20% out of her fixed income, because Medicare only pays for about 80%. So Medicaid takes care of the other 20%. But here's the kicker: if she hadn't had the irrevocable trust, she wouldn't have been able to be qualified for Medicaid. So now that she's qualified for Medicaid, without having to sell her house to the state to get Medicaid, she's pretty much financially sound and safe for right now, because the new regime, or the new administration, Trump administrations, they're in the house. So he only been in office now for about less than 6 months. Because this is June. Yeah, next month will be 6 months. So the bottom line is, we don't know if the Medicaid is going to stick around for her. Hopefully it does, because she's unlike the young women who are fruitful and able-bodied individuals, but they're hiding behind their children. My mother had 11 children with her husband. They were married for 67 years. So the bottom line is this: she did what society wants people to do. Be adults, get married, have a job, take care of their families. Her and my father did it for 67 years. So if anybody's entitled to something or anything, it's people like my mother. She's a widow now, she's on a fixed income, and she should be entitled no matter who's in office. She should be entitled because her and my father, my late father, they added to the kitty, working over 112 years of their life. My father passed when he was 84, and my mother's still living, thank God. But the bottom line is, he was 84 when he passed. She's 84 now and still living, thank God. But the bottom line is, out of both of those two lives together, they worked over 112 years. If anybody should be entitled to anything, it should be people like them. No matter what nationality, no matter male or female, no matter married or single, if they've been working all their life and adding to the kitty, meaning Medicare, Social Security, and all kinds of taxes, they should be entitled to all of the benefits that should be readily available to them. But if you do not have a trust, I put them in an irrevocable trust. If you do not have a trust, pretty much everything you ever worked for is going to go to the county in which you dwell, or the state in which you're a resident of. So people don't understand that the government, the county, the local government, state government, and federal government, people don't know this stuff. It's not taught in high school or college. So the bottom line is, people are working all of their life, building assets and accruing assets and houses and land and cars and property, if they do not have a sound departure plan, meaning when the day comes when they leave this earth, if they don't have their financial affairs in order, they're going to be like the late great Prince. The late great Prince, all of that fame and all of the fortune, all of everything that he had, when he passed away, he did not have a will. He did not have a trust. He didn't have anything. So all of what he ever acquired went right back to Minnesota, the state of Minnesota, or particularly the county in which his house was built in. So people don't understand this. Everything that everybody ever works for in life will go back to the county or the state if they do not have their financial affairs in place. So rich people know this. Us little people don't know this. I just happened to stumble upon it when I just said, you know what, let me do some research and use this thing called the internet and ChatGPT to figure out how can I protect my elderly parents, because at the time when I put them in it, my parents was in their 70s. So my father lasted 7 years and 10 months before his passing, before the trust was established. But the bottom line is, people do not understand, if you do not have your financial affairs in place, everything you ever worked for will go back to the county, the state, or the federal government. So think about the 350 million citizens. Out of the 350 million citizens, I would say off the top of my head, because I'm just thinking out loud here, I would say 275 million people, assets will go back to the county and the state in which they died, in which there was a resident. So people don't understand this. Everything that we ever work for will go back to the county or the state if we don't do A, B, C, D, and E. We have to have things in order so that our offspring, our survivors, will have the assets we work for, and it can go forward versus going back to the state and the county. So people are working hard all their lives, and all of that work goes for naught if they don't have their finances and their exit strategy in place. It all goes back to the county and the state. That sounds crazy, but it's facts. But once again, the price of getting older, it's not a joke. It's real. It is real. So medication, hospitalization, doctor's visits, your walkers, your cushions for your toilets, your stair lifts, your canes, your orthopedic pillowcases, your beds, everything needs to be looked at so that people can understand there's a price attached to getting older. And people don't understand that price is exorbitant. It's expensive. And I just want to bring light to it, and I'm going to tap on this a little bit more as I go and do my walk and talks. Right now, this is the first walk and talk that I'm doing right here in Alexandria, Virginia, in a place called Jones Point Park. It's a beautiful park. It's just nice. You got the river. You got the boats. If you can see the boats in the river, it's a nice place. But Jones Point Park is a nice place. And this is my local oasis, my local getaway when I'm feeling I need to get out of the house and do something. But I just want to let everybody know the price to getting older is real. And you do not want to take it lightly. You don't want to overlook that. Because the bottom line is this. If the Lord bless you to get older, which is a blessing, there's a blessing And then there's a price. And the price, while on this earth, is nobody cares. So to find someone who cares about you and cares about everything you ever worked for, you better start looking for that person now. Because I'm going to say right now, in the black community, one person is hard to find. One person where money doesn't change the heartbeat, the pace of their heart, meaning they get excited over money. In the black community, that's hard to find. So I wish everybody well with this endeavor and looking to find one person that you trust with your financial affairs, who can handle business on your behalf. Because when you get old and gray, and as you see, I'm gray now, but as you get old and meek and frail and can't think like that and can't move and walk, that person that you entrust with everything you ever worked for pretty much will be almost like your guardian angel. So I must admit, to find such person, it takes time to find that person of great character and of great honesty. Their probity have to be beyond reproach, because if they're a liar and you have no choice but to hand over your money to that person, they're going to take you to the bank. They're going to take you to the bank, and there's nothing you can do about it, because you're going to be old and gray and meek. And as the Lord says, the meek shall inherit the earth. So everybody goes back to the earth. Everybody. So all I want to do is shed some light on this, because it's a serious, serious issue where people are getting old and time is flying by, but no one understands the importance of a trustee or somebody you can entrust with your assets, your money, and everything that you ever worked for. This is Walking and Talking, episode number 1. I'm out.